How is everybody? I am so excited for tonight, you guys. This is my absolute favorite topic to talk about when I talk about oils, because when I first got started with oils, my kids were super little. My kids are still young; they're 10 and under. But when I first got started, felt still like such a new mom. My oldest was only 3. My youngest at the time was not even 1 yet, and I just needed solutions. Like, I needed my kids to sleep. I needed my kids to, rest during rest time. I needed them to be chill. I needed them to not throw temper tantrums, like all those things. Like, I was deep in that like toddler trenches moment. And now, as I've been using these products for the last 7 years and been able to watch my kids grow with them and learn so much about how to use oils in each stage of motherhood, it makes me even more excited because they are so useful in every single one of these seasons. So tonight I'm excited. I'm going to start. We're just going to kind of start at the beginning and move all the way up to teens. So I'm going to talk a little bit about prenatal care, I'm just going to touch on each one of these things. And then at the end, I'm going to share a couple of links that go a little bit more in depth for different age groups. So I'm excited that you guys are here. I love seeing your family pictures. If you guys did not get a chance to go and post on our little welcome post and share our, hey Denise, and share our your family picture or the picture of like the kids that you love on that are important to you in our post from like a half hour ago, I would love for you to do that because I would love to see your babies. Okay, we have a weird lighting situation. I'm like by a window, but the sun's going down, so we have all the crazy lights happening. I hope you guys are well and healthy and safe. I know that this has been a crazy season for all the moms. I was actually looking at something a little while ago that I saw on Instagram, and it was just like this illustration of different things that moms are carrying through this time as we're in this quarantine season and staying in. It was talking about, how we're managing school things, and we're also managing our own work things, and we're also managing our kids' emotional health, and we're also managing their physical health, and we're also trying to keep our families, safe and healthy and all the things that we're doing, and we're also trying to give them outlets to like play outside and do things, and we're also trying to follow all the rules, and just seeing it all in one place, I was like, man, that's a lot of stuff that we're responsible for right now. But I know that there's been days lately that I have really felt the weight of that, and I'm sure that you guys have too as moms. So just want to shout some encouragement to you, let you know that you're doing good. Hope you guys had awesome Mother's Days, and we're just going to dive in to this info, so let's chat, Dr. Mom. I am going to be using some notes from my computer, so forgive me if I read a little bit. I do not require myself to memorize all the things because we have resources that we can go to anytime we need help. So I like to turn to those resources. Speaking of that, I did want to talk about one of my very favorite resources before we get started. So for pregnancy, prenatal care, delivery, postpartum, babies, infants, toddlers, like all of that, there is a book called Gentle Babies. That is by Deborah Rayburn, and you guys, it is the holy grail of info for baby care, mama care, all the things. It was one of the first resources that I got when I got started with oils, and being able to look up things that are specific to newborns, specific to infants, specific to like nursing moms or pregnant moms and things like that, and find solutions that I knew I could trust, and I didn't have to look something up and think like, yeah, but is this okay because I'm pregnant, or different things like that. Having those resources, that specific resource on hand, always like made me feel like I could trust it 100% and knew that those things were tried and true for mamas. And so if you don't have a resource on hand that you are you're using to find answers like that, I really encourage you to grab a book like Gentle Babies, because having something like, as a mom, we have so many unknowns. There's so many times that something happens and we're like, I don't really know what to do with this, but I'm supposed to fix it because I'm the mom. Yes, such a good gift idea. I love to give the Gentle Babies book with like a couple of oils as a baby gift for baby showers and things like that. But there's so many things that we're responsible to kind of take care of because we're the mom and we're supposed to know how to do it. But there's so many things that we're faced with that it's like, well, I don't know what to do for this, and what if I try this and it doesn't work, or what if I try this and it makes it worse, or what if I, there's so many what ifs, but we're all kind of looked to with these eyes that are like, but you're the mom, you're supposed to know what to do. So having a resource that you can turn to with confidence is huge. Also, before we jump in, I want to encourage you as a mom, if you are a mom watching, trust your gut, because you know your kids better than anyone else, better than your pediatrician, better than your doctor, better than all the people. You know what they need, and it is your job to advocate for them and to stand in the gap for them and provide those things that they need. There's been a lot of times situations where, I've heard stories and different things, and there's been stuff that I've been faced with where a doctor was saying one thing and I, in my heart, was like, no, you have to listen. This is not normal for my child. This is what they need. And they may say, oh, well, this is just normal, and this is normal behavior, or this is normal for them to, have this issue or whatever. And you're like, no, it's not. This is not, you know your child. So all that to say, just trust your gut. If there is an oil, if there's a product, if there's a supplement or something that you just feel in your heart, like, I really feel like they need this today, give it to them and trust yourself to know, like, hey, I can totally read that they need this today. And just trust your mama gut, because that's there for a reason. That's God-given, and it's there for a reason. So all that to say, like, I'm going to give you lots of tips and lots of info, but whatever you take away, like, take that away. Trusting yourself and trusting that, like, you don't have to research everything to the 1000th degree. Like, trust yourself, because you're the mama and you were given that role for a purpose. So let's jump in. We're going to talk first about we're just kind of, like I said, we're going to go through the stages of kind of mom life, and we're going to start with a little bit of pregnancy info. I have 3 kiddos. My oldest is 10. My middle guy is, my kids just had birthdays, y'all. It's like a pop quiz. Is 8, and my youngest is 6. And so I have 2 girls and then a boy in the middle. And so I had already been through 2 pregnancies when I got started with oils, but my 3rd pregnancy I got to do with oils and Young Living products, and could not believe the difference that it made in how I felt during pregnancy and how I felt postpartum especially. I did have a really difficult pregnancy with my 3rd, but postpartum, like the recovery time and the way that I felt, the energy that I had, the mental clarity that I had was unmatched. Like, my first 2 were like rough, and my 3rd was like I bounced right back. So I fully believe that these products makes a huge difference during pregnancy and postpartum. We also have, like, if you are a member of our Baby Steps to Essential Oils team, we have a group, a Facebook group that is specifically for like pregnancy, nursing, and infants. And so if you have questions that you'd feel more comfortable, browsing in there or asking in that environment, then you can totally be added to that group, and it's a great resource. We also have tons of resources in our app, our Baby Steps app, for our Life Steps app, for on pregnancy, nursing, all that stuff. So when I think of like a list of, I'm just going to kind of like hit some bullet points, things that I tell mamas are must-haves for that season, for the pregnancy. Ningxia Red is my number 1, because a lot of times, like, I know for myself, it was really hard for me to want to choose nutritious foods, because you want to choose the things that you're craving, and sometimes it's genuinely, mamas, you know this, like, you can testify in the comments that it is really, really difficult to eat certain things during pregnancy, or to be around certain aromas, or prepare certain foods, and all those different things. So using Ningxia Red and being able to drink those like 2 to 4 ounces a day, a lot of mamas, especially in pregnancy, drink way more than that. And you guys, we have midwives on our team who have said that the difference in the way the placenta looks when babies are delivered, and moms that have used Ningxia Red throughout their pregnancy versus moms who haven't, is dramatic. Like, it's a dramatic difference. They say that the mamas who have used Ningxia Red throughout have the healthiest placentas that they have seen ever. And it makes a tremendous difference in the health of the placenta, the health of the baby. And so I love knowing that. I love being able to know that difference, and to know that, people who are in that environment on a regular basis have seen such a difference from the use of that one product. A lot of women have trouble with the prenatal vitamins. That upsets their stomach or makes them feel kind of funny. So there's a lot of people that just do Ningxia Red instead of doing a prenatal. Obviously, these are all personal decisions and just whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel like your baby and your body needs. Let's see. Pregnancy was actually the first thing that the first reason that I kind of started looking into a more natural lifestyle, because the first doctor's appointment I had when I was pregnant with my oldest, I went in and they were like, okay, here's this packet, make sure and look over this when you get home. And it was all these neon pieces of paper. And I was like, what in the world is this? So we get in the car on the way home and I'm like, we're all excited and whatever. And I'm looking through this packet and it's literally like this thick of things to avoid. Medicines, foods, all kinds of things. Like when you're pregnant, do not do this, do not use this, do not take this, do not try this, do not. And I was like, I remember just genuinely thinking like, this is stuff that I use all the time. Like, why is it unsafe for me to use during pregnancy? And if it's unsafe for my baby, then why is it safe for me on a regular basis? And so it was like the wheels really started to turn during that time. So after Ningxia, Ningxia is also really great because it has easy absorption for your body. Since it's a liquid whole food supplement, it's really easy for your body to absorb, which means it's easy for your body to absorb and to transfer to baby. You can also, I've heard mamas say that sometimes the taste gets really strong for them during pregnancy and they don't love the Ningxia. You can mix it with juice, you can put it in a smoothie, there's so many different ways you can do it. Lots of people like to put it in the freezer and do it as a popsicle. Like there's so many ways that you can get that good stuff into your body. Super B. You guys, B vitamins are so important. They help your mood, they help your energy level. And many OBs will encourage you to take extra B vitamins during pregnancy. And Super B, if you guys don't know this about our Young Living supplements are a lot more easily absorbed in the body than any other supplement because they're infused with essential oils. And so the oils help our body to assimilate them better. So whereas an over-the-counter like B vitamin, you might only absorb a little bit of it, with the Young Living ones, you're going to absorb a way higher percentage of what you're actually wanting to absorb, as opposed to just getting rid of it, your body getting rid of it. Sulfurzyme. Sulfurzyme is an amazing supplement. It comes in a powder form or in capsules, whatever is easy for you to do during pregnancy. The powder is really sweet to the taste. So that'd be great to add to like tea or juice or things like that. And it's amazing for your joints. And you know how sore your body gets during pregnancy and even after with like nursing and carrying the baby all the time and all those things. Sulfurzyme is such a daily must-have for that season of life. I take it daily now and it makes a huge difference for me. For postpartum care, I cannot recommend enough the Clearaderm spray. Clearaderm is a game changer for all things skin. Lots of women will use it postpartum for healing for tears and different things like that, and it just really extremely accelerates your recovery. Another great one to have on hand is rose ointment. A lot of people use like the lanolin and stuff like that when you start nursing, and you're kind of getting used to that, and your skin is getting used to it and stuff. But lanolin actually has ingredients in it that are not great for your skin and can cause further deterioration and pain, and that's not what we want when we're trying to get over that hurdle. And so using the rose ointment instead was extremely helpful for me. I had a really difficult time kind of getting over that painful hump with my first two kiddos, and so with my third, using the rose ointment, and I would mix a little bit of lavender or copaiba in with it, and it would make a huge difference when I applied that after nursing. So those are some of my personal favorites that have been amazing for me. And when we move on towards like thinking about infancy, we're kind of moving out of that pregnancy stage and thinking about the babies now. Frankincense is an oil that lots of people love to use on tiny ones because it's really gentle, but it's also really powerful in terms of being a great immune system booster and emotional support. So it's a great one to put like maybe a drop on their little spine and rub, or a drop on the bottoms of their feet. Yes, Denise, Clearaderm will change your life. Like, it will change your life. And then, you know, we continue to use it because it's amazing for all things skin. So now that my kids are older, when they, you know, come in with scrapes and bruises and stuff, we use Clariderm for that sometimes, for the bigger things. Frankincense is amazing. Gentle Baby is an incredible blend to have on hand. It's really calming, really soothing. I know a lot of moms that like to wear the Gentle Baby on their clothes like as their perfume because it's so calming for their little ones. Lavender, obviously, you guys, is our go-to. It's like the comforting grandma of oils, right? And so that's an amazing one to use for the little ones, or to diffuse when they go to sleep at night, or put like a drop in their bath as they're getting a little bit bigger. The Seedlings products, you guys, if you have not tried the Seedlings, the baby care products that Young Living has put out, you can trust all the ingredients 100%. They're safe for your babies. They are, we have a baby wash, diaper cream, linen spray, baby oil. There's all kinds of stuff that you can choose from. There's baby wipes. And all those things are super effective, and just, you know, it's the stuff that gets delivered to your doorstep. You don't have to worry about going out to get it, and it's products that you can 100% trust are not, you know, damaging your baby's skin or hormones or all those other things that are happening. Also, I want to talk for a second about laundry soap. I know that there's lots of moms that love to go out and get like the baby specialty laundry soaps. You guys, please do your research and look into those before you purchase them, because like the Dreft and the, you know, all baby soap and all those things, like they have a lot of fragrance and a lot of ingredients that can be really damaging. And when you think about the things that your clothes are washed in and that they sit on your skin all the time, this is true for all ages of kids and for us too. We're always in clothes, right? Like, or we're laying on sheets at night, or we're, you know, wrapped up in a towel, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Those things are almost always touching us. And we want to make sure that the chemicals and the things that are on those are not soaking into our skin with damaging properties. And so the Thieves Laundry Soap is an amazing gift for a new mom. And it's really effective. It's worked so well for all of us with all 3 of our kids, and lasts literally forever. You guys, we have a family of 5, and our laundry soap lasts us like 5 months. It's incredible. Okay, for moms of babies, let's talk about moms, how we can support moms. The number one thing I would say is consistent Ningxia Red, because that really helps with regulating energy levels. And then Ningxia Nitro for maybe those days that you have been up 25 times in the night, or the baby was up for 6 hours straight or whatever, because I've totally had those nights. But Ningxia Nitro is a game changer because it comes in a little bitty tube, and it is packed with a lot of things that are amazing for cognitive function. So it's a great brain support. It will help kind of eliminate that foggy brain feeling that you have when you're overtired, and it helps you focus and be able to get done the things that you need to get done, even if that's taking a nap. So those are huge. The Super B, like I talked about before, for energy, and then the Valor oil is amazing for like postpartum care. Just there's so many emotions that you have to process, and so many changes, and Valor really helps with processing those big feelings. So I would encourage you to grab Valor, and then our Joy blend. A lot of people will do Valor on their shoulders to kind of symbolize like the lifting those burdens off your shoulders. And then the Joy oil is great to put a drop like over your heart, and you know, just kind of set your intention for that day, and then, you know, your little one, as you're holding your little one there, then they're getting all the benefits of inhaling those oils as well. So we're going to shift gears now. We're going to move into kind of toddlerhood and some things that we would recommend for that. Excuse me. I'm talking really fast. I gotta slow down. Okay, I will be real with you guys. I know that there are a lot of people who do not love the toddler phase. I love toddlers. They're crazy and they're hard to parent, but like I love them so much. They're the cutest, and they say adorable things, and they snuggle, and they're just, I love them so much. Like we literally like banned the phrase terrible twos from our house We never talked about that. It was terrific twos, and we just spoke that truth over them, that it was going to be wonderful. And we definitely had challenges, you guys, huge challenges. But just, remember that the words that you speak carry weight. Okay, let's see. Okay, must-haves for toddlers. Copaiba. You guys, all the Copaiba, because all the teeth. Like from the time that they start cutting teeth as babies, all the way through those 2-year molars, you want to have all the Copaiba on hand. And you guys, it's so easy. You just put a little drop on your finger and rub it right on their gums, and it gives such sweet relief to those kiddos. We also like to do a little bit of stress away. We would put that on the outside of the jaw, and that was always so soothing to my kiddos too. Clove is another one that's great for mouth pain. Clove is a spicy oil, and so sometimes you would want to try that and mix it with like some coconut oil or a carrier of some sort to dilute it a little bit before you apply it. But clove actually has like numbing properties that will help with that. Let's see, toddlers also, you guys, Endoflex, because the endocrine system controls a lot of like the hormone things and the things that regulate our emotions. And so a lot of times for, like tantrums and things like that, a lot of times Endoflex can be really helpful. I know that there was a question that somebody had posted about tantrums and, different things like that. And just trying to help with kind of that attitude regulation for little ones. And some of the ones that I love, like I said, the Endoflex is amazing for that. We apply it over the thyroid or on the spine, and then peace and calming is also amazing. Can be really amazing. Stress away can be really amazing. A heads up on peace and calming is that how, if you've heard before, like Benadryl, when you give people Benadryl, that it can have opposite effects. Like sometimes it makes you really sleepy, and some people it wires them. So peace and calming kind of works like that, where in most people it has the effect that it's extremely soothing and really calming. But in a handful of people, it can be a little bit more, it can cause more alertness. And so if you notice that, like it really doesn't happen often, but if you notice that, maybe try combining it with another oil or try replacing it with something else. And it may take some trial and error for you to find what your child responds to best. I had one that responded really well to purification. When she would get really upset and angry and frustrated when she was little, and they have such a hard time articulating what they're feeling, and but purification really helped to calm her a lot. So you just, like I said, you just have to kind of do some trial and error. And kids, you guys are so intuitive. There would be times, a lot of times, where I would open up my case of oils and ask them what they needed, like, hey, can you show me what you need? And let them like point to something, and me think like, okay, well that's fine if they try that. We can put that on their feet, or they can smell it for a minute and see, how that makes them feel, because their body, like they know what they're drawn to, just like we do. Just like you'll open up your oil cabinet or whatever and think like, oh man, I really need some, Valor right now, or whatever the case, some Panaway or whatever it might be. Your kids know, like trust them to be intuitive and empower them to be able to choose some things too. Also, it may be a great distraction from whatever tantrum may be happening. My connection's messing up. Tranquil is another really, really good one that I love to rub on the forehead or behind, on the back of the neck. That's super peaceful. It has a lot of lavender and really great stuff that is really, really calming. That's a great one to use before bedtime too. Let's see. If you're looking for things for sleep solutions, remember that for that's going to take some trial and error too, but stick with it, because when you find something that works, it will be so magical. We struggled big time with my daughter until she was like 3.5 or 4. It's one of the big reasons that I started using oils, was to help her with her bedtime routine. And we tried lots of different things, and the combo that we finally landed on that she still loves is, and she's 10 now, is peace and calming with cedarwood. So we would drop some peace and calming in the diffuser, put a little bit of cedarwood. Sometimes we would mix up a spray, and we would call it her sleepy time spray, put it in a little spray bottle and just fill it with water and put both of those oils in it. You'd spray her pillows and her blankies and like her nightgown and all that stuff, like as much as we could, get all the oils on her, right? But it really made a tremendous difference in how she slept. So that was, it really helped us kind of get over a really big, challenging moment with her. But all that to say, like give yourself some time and some trial and error to know, and don't think of it as a failure when what you try doesn't work. You can keep a log of the things that you try, what results you see, so that you know, like, oh, hey, this worked really well, this didn't work as well. So it's really helpful to kind of have, because everybody's body is different, and you're going to respond differently depending on what your body chemistry is and what you're using. Make sure that you have a diffuser in your kids' rooms, guys, for your toddlers and stuff. They are big enough to help choose an oil to diffuse at night, to help fill the diffuser, things like that. Make that a part of their bedtime routine so that that's part of their sleep cues. Our owl diffuser is the actual cutest thing. We have one in here, but it's like hidden behind alarm clocks and whatnot, because my daughter slept in here last night. But they're so cute. They're like cute and tiny. It's one piece that comes off. You fill it, you put the oils in, you put the little owl head back on, and his little body lights up. You can change all the colors. It works as a night light. It doubles as a sound machine. It's amazing, and it's really affordable and so cute. And your littles will like love to say night night to their owl before they go to bed. It's the cutest thing. Okay. But making those things part of your bedtime routine, like, oh, it's time to pick our oils for the diffuser for bed, that can be a really great sleep cue for little ones. Also, before we move on to the next age group, which is like about 4 to 8, a tip really for all ages, but especially for this age group as they're potty training, a drop of peppermint. You guys, we still keep a bottle of peppermint in our bathroom. A drop of peppermint in the toilet before they sit down can really help encourage their body to release, and it's really helpful if you have the kids that love to sit for a really long time and nothing happens. So keep that in mind, or if you have kids that struggle with getting backed up, it can help with that as well. There's times that my kids will call me from the bathroom and be like, Mom, come put a drop of peppermint or whatever, so it's a really, really helpful pro tip for you. So next we're going to kind of move into, like I said, kids age like 4 to 8. These kids are growing and changing like crazy. There's so much growth that happens in that time period. So any way that we can be consistent and get healthy things on and in their bodies is such a win. These ages are often where you can start to introduce some supplements. So I'm going to talk a little bit about supplements for kids. Some of our favorites that we love are the Mighty Vites. This is like a multivitamin for kid. It's like what you would use in place of, your crazy Flintstone vitamins that are packed with junk, or, whatever your over-the-counter multivitamin. They're chewables. They're great. They taste good. We also love the Mighty Pro probiotic. You guys, if you have not used Mighty Pro, you will have to hide it from yourself because you will want to eat it because it tastes like candy. It's so good. They're little packets, and it's like a pixie stick of probiotic and prebiotic goodness that helps your kids' gut and digestion, and which is a huge part of their immune system and helps keep them healthy and strong. So that's a really, really important piece of that. You also want them to continue on that Ningxia Red. We started giving our kids Ningxia Red as soon as we introduced something outside of like their breast milk or formula that they were having as babies. So as soon as we started to introduce any other like water or juices or things like that, we would introduce some Ningxia Red. At first I would maybe water it down a little bit because it does have that like strong berry flavor. Sometimes I would pour an ounce of it like into some applesauce for my toddlers and give it to them. Mighty Pro, I'm seeing all the Mighty Pro praises in the comments right now. You guys, it's so good. It's so yummy. It's like the one thing that all 3 of my kids actually like. But yeah, that's a great way to keep their bodies healthy and strong. The Mighty Zymes are something, they're digestive enzymes. If you have kids that struggle with digestive health or struggle digesting specific things, the Mighty Zymes can be really helpful for that. My son takes those every day because he is our one that has struggled with digestive stuff. Super C chewables, you guys, are vitamin C chewables. These also taste like candy, and I could eat like 6 a day or more. which right now with everything going on in the world, I don't fault myself for. I'm like, I think I'll have another Super C. But they're so good and have so much good vitamin C in them. And then, like I said, staying consistent with that Ningxia Red day in and day out for your littles it just boosts so much with that easy to absorb nutrition. And I know that a lot of kids in this 4 to 8 range can be more picky. And so being able to get a few of these good supplements and good whole food nutrition into them during these ages when they may only want frozen chicken nuggets, like my children, can make your mom heart feel so much better. Like, okay, they may have had frozen chicken nuggets again today, but at least they had their Ningxia Red, like I can feel good about that. Okay, continue to let them choose their own oils on occasion. These are ages where when you feel comfortable as a mom to do this, like you could put a couple of oils in their room. I know that my oldest, when she was probably 6 or 7, I made her a roller because she kept waking up at night with pain in her legs. And she actually called it paint in her legs, which is really hilarious. So we like to still call it that. But she would, come tell us that her legs were hurting. And so I would put, some OrthoSport or OrthoEase massage oil on her. But finally I just put some in a little roller and she felt so big and so like in charge of herself and like she could take care of herself when I put that on her nightstand, so that when she woke up, she was able to roll that on her legs and rub it in and go back to sleep. And also she didn't wake me up. Huge win. So so just keep thinking of ways that you can empower them to be stepping into their own and giving them responsibility and empowerment to know what their body needs and to be able to do that. Okay, must-haves for this age group, 4 to 8, you guys. Owie oil. Who loves Owie? Owie is literally a miracle worker. I think that we probably have like 4 or 5 bottles stashed around our house. I have one in my purse. It is literally one of my favorites, and we keep one in our box of Band-Aids. It literally goes with me everywhere because it is so effective, and my kids know that anytime they need a Band-Aid, they're going to grab the Owie to go with it. It's such good stuff. We have seen really, really dramatic, like overnight results using Owie. Has tons of stuff in it that's amazing for skin. You can also use the Clariderm spray that we talked about earlier for postpartum healing. You can also use that for anytime you need a Band-Aid. Valor is really great for kids in this age group, you guys, because there's a lot of new that is introduced to them as they are growing and stepping into this new, big kid season of life. They might start school for the first time. They might do their first like football game or their first dance class or things like that. And sometimes that can bring up a lot of, emotion and uncertainty and insecurity. And so using Valor and letting them inhale that, putting it on their clothes or things like that can be really calming and help them process those big feelings. We always call Valor our brave oil. And so in situations like that, or for their first big test or things like that, there's so many times that I ask my kids, like, do you need some of the brave oil? And they'll be like, yeah, I need the brave oil. And so it's just something that helps to kind of calm their nervous system and help them take those deep breaths that they need to be collected for whatever that next step is that they're taking. Stress Away is also great for that. And that's another one of those situations where you're going to talk with your child and see kind of what they're drawn to. White Angelica is huge as they're starting to have more emotional connections with people and feeling interactions with others and stuff. White Angelica can help you with not holding on to the emotions of others. Tummy Jize, you guys. Okay, so if you let me collect my words. If you have used our Digize blend that comes in the premium starter kit, it's amazing for all things digestive support, but it can be a really strong aroma. So we love to use Tummy Jize whenever we can because it doesn't stink as bad as Digize, but it's still super effective and really gentle and comes pre-diluted for the kiddos. And so that's another one that, like for nervous tummies or things like that, we love to use the Tummy Jize. All of our Kid Sense oils come pre-diluted, which means that you don't have to take the time to dilute them if that's important to you. Sleepy Eyes is another great one that we use at bedtime. We love to diffuse it at bedtime. It's a really, really great calming, soothing blend. And what you need during these ages will really vary depending on your kids. It will vary depending on their personalities. I have one kid that takes multiple supplements a day because he needs them. And then I have another who just does Ningxia and Endoflex. And I have another one that is all over the map and does some things one day and some things the next day. They all do the daily Ningxia Red consistently because that is our baseline. That's really important for our health. But they're all going to be different, and you can't expect them to all do the exact same things or need the exact same things. So there may be some, in these age groups is kind of where you're starting to pinpoint, like, okay, it looks like you maybe need a little bit more of this or a little bit less of that. So it's kind of fun to start figuring those things out. Okay. This is one of my favorite age groups right now because it's something that's kind of new to us. But I'm going to talk with you about tweens. So the tween age group actually starts around age 8 and runs to 12. So 8 to 12 is the years that we're looking at, stepping into this next part. And I have a video, a class that is specific to this age group that I'm going to share a link to at the end. So if you have kids close to this age group or in this age group and you want more details specifically about how to love on them with your Young Living products, I'll share that link at the end because it has a lot more like deeply pinpointed stuff. First of all, is anyone else shocked by the fact that tweens and like kids entering puberty are classified as 8-year-olds? Like, does that feel shocking? Like, I think that in my mind as a mom, I thought, okay, that probably happens when they're like 12. But that all begins around age 8, you guys, which is unbelievable. And that means that before we even realize it, they are needing so much extra support that we may not even notice. And so it's so important for us to be ahead of the game on that. My oldest daughter started scanning for oils to help balance her hormones when she was 7. And so it sneaks up, Brittany. It happens so much quicker than what you think. And now we're like dead in the middle of it at 10 years old. And it's really interesting. I have my oldest daughter is 10 and a half, and then my son just turned 8. And so we're like at the beginning cusp of it and then right in the middle of it. And so it's interesting to see the boy-girl differences and just so it's a whole new world. But so great to be able to provide them extra support that they need. So one of my favorite things that I have learned about this age group is about their brain development. Their brains are undergoing major reconstruction, renovation during this time period. The CEO portion of their brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, I'm going to do some science here for just a quick minute, you guys, is kind of MIA, like it's absent during these years. Really, it starts around like 8 and 9, and it really doesn't come back, like that prefrontal cortex doesn't come fully back into play until they're like 21. So it's a period of like 10 to 12 years here where the prefrontal cortex is kind of absent. This is the part of their brain that controls all the major decision making, all of their problem solving, managing conflicting thoughts, making social decisions, defining right and wrong, just the really important things. So they need extra brain support. They need things like MindWise or OmegaGize if they can take capsules. They need things like frankincense to support their thought processes, things like clarity oil to help them think clearly and process those things. Maybe things like Ningxia Nitro to help them focus in times. I've given my kids, like half of a nitro or whatever in their Ningxia if they've been up late the night before or they have a big test or things like that require extra focus. Those things are all so important to help engage those parts of the brain that are typically kind of turned off during this season. Ningxia, continue that Ningxia red, you guys. We're not going to get to a point where we stop that because it's so good for them and their growing bodies. You want to also focus on gut health because you guys, you know, the gut is often called the second brain. There's so many things that happen in your gut that influence how your thought processes work and whether they feel cloudy or clear and things like that. So using things like enzymes, using our pre and probiotic, you know, the Mighty Pro that we talked about, all of those things can impact so many things that are happening in their bodies. Endocrine system support is huge during these years. So our Endoflex oil is amazing. You can do the Vitality in a capsule. We love to use the Endoflex oil. I keep it like on the bathroom counter by the toothbrushes to try to help my daughter remember to put that on daily. I can tell an enormous difference in the days that she remembers and the days that she forgets. And there will be some mornings where around like 10, 11 a.m. I'm able to say like, hey, sister, you need to go put your Endoflex on, because I can tell a big difference in her attitude and her mood and the way that she's responding to things when she's not balanced in that way. And so we just do a drop or two on her, like just put it on her fingers, and we rub it over the thyroid. Let's see. Our endocrine hormones help control mood, growth, development, the way our organs work, our metabolism, and reproduction. So we do that Endoflex every day. It's so important. You also, in these age groups, especially, well, I was going to say especially for girls, but I guess it's really for both, because you're introducing things like deodorants and colognes and perfumes and things like that as they're, you know, starting to get a little bit older. For girls, it might be a little bit of, you know, touches of makeup for special events, or, you know, hairsprays or hair products or lotions, or, you know, I know we went to a birthday party not too long ago where a friend gave us like a body glitter, and it was like this body gel glitter thing. And I remember getting in the car and my daughter looked at me and she was like, "You're not gonna let me put this on, are you?" And I was like, "Nope." Because I mean, I took 2 minutes to look at it, and it had such scary ingredients and things that were just not that they were like mediocre, but it was things that were bad for her, you know? And I was like, "No, we're not doing that." So I took her home and we found an alternative way to make her own body glitter with, you know, healthy ingredients. So there's always alternative things that you can do, but you want to make sure that you're using a deodorant and not an antiperspirant. You want to make sure that there's no aluminum in it, because we don't want to clog up these areas that are supposed to be used for our bodies to release toxins. So important for these kids as they're growing. So just make sure, you know, you're introducing like those hygiene practices and all that, that you're also introducing like, hey, make sure and read your label. Make sure that, you know, the shampoo that you picked out doesn't have fragrance. Make sure that, you know, I mean, it's just a process of teaching them, beginning to teach them how to look for the things that are going to be good and beneficial for their health. And all the like makeup things, you guys, I don't even want to go there. We are not there yet, but I know that it's around the corner, and I am so grateful for our Savvy Minerals makeup for my girls, because I just cannot imagine having to field the array of what's out there right now that they want. I'm so grateful that we have so many great options that appeal really to all ages. Also, these are ages that you're going to notice a lot more, like we were talking about the deodorants and stuff, you're going to notice a lot more body odor. You're going to notice them needing help and direction with things like that. Multi-greens. If you are not familiar with our multi-green supplement, it's one of the first Young Living supplements that was created, and it is just packed with like tons of the good green stuff that we don't get as much of in our diets anymore. And it has chlorophyll in it, which can help a ton with body odor, and it helps to neutralize that kind of from the inside out. And so it doesn't eliminate, but it really, really helps with it. So that can be something that, you know, even if your kids can't take a capsule, that you could open up that capsule and put it in smoothies or juice or things like that to try to get that into their system to help with things like that. Okay, we are actually moving really quickly, which is awesome. So we're going to move on into teens, and then I'm going to wrap up and share those links with you guys. If anybody has any specific questions or anything, feel free to post those in the comments, and I will try to see them and answer them before I wrap up the video. And if I don't, then I'll come back and answer them in the comments after I'm done. So moving into teens, this is obviously, like my oldest I said is 10 and a half. So we haven't done teens in our house yet, but I have lots of friends who have and who have shared amazing tips with me. So I'm just going to share and touch on what they have shared with me. So many of the same things that we talked about in our tween age group are going to carry up into the teens. Like the Endoflex is a great example of that. But we're just going to begin to add a few more things in as we're continuing to teach these kids, how to take care of themselves and listen to their bodies. This is for sure challenging, but it's a great time to just keep reinforcing these healthy habits that will make a difference as they get ready to kind of head out on their own. So let's talk about skincare for teens really quick. I know that that's a really big one. It's like getting dark in here. So when we talk about skincare, obviously we want to look at cleaning the skin. So things like our Orange Blossom line is really great and gentle for all skin types. The charcoal bar soap, you guys, I have heard so many testimonies about how awesome the charcoal bar soap is for teens, that it's amazing. It makes your skin feel really soft, and it's really great for neutralizing things and helping to balance the skin. It's not over drying. It's great for all skin types. Like, it's really good stuff, and it's super affordable. It's like $12, and it lasts a really long time. So I would definitely encourage that. We have the acne treatment cream that is incredible. Things like tea tree oil or purification are great for spot treatments, and obviously you can go with the frankincense that's amazing for skin. We have so many options for healthy skin, you guys. Excuse me, my voice is getting tired. And then for girls, as they start to use makeup, you want to make sure that they're using a clean makeup like our Savvy Minerals, because you guys, my skin has actually improved since I switched to Savvy Minerals, because it doesn't have all the junk in it that was sitting on my skin before, day in and day out. And so, you want to make sure that you're putting clean makeup on their skin too, to help them avoid, any more of the breakout stuff than they have to go through. Sleep is another big one for teens, because they, adolescents tend to sleep a lot more, right? That's what everybody keeps telling us, like moms of young kids. Who else is excited for your kids to start sleeping past, 7 a.m.? Because I am excited about that. I am sure that there will come a day that I will be, wishing that they would wake up early or whatever. But right now, I'm ready for them to sleep in a little bit more. So I was looking into this, and I was researching actually earlier today about why they tend to want more sleep. And it said that their bodies are doing so much growth and change during that time that they need the extra rest. And it said that teens tend to want to stay up later because their bodies are changing and moving, from that childhood state to the adult state, and they don't secrete melatonin as early in the evenings as they used to. So like kids get tired earlier because their bodies start to produce melatonin earlier, and that makes them sleepy and puts them to sleep earlier. But the older that they get, that happens later and later and later in the day. And so that's why they tend to stay up later, and then they sleep a lot later because their bodies are needing so much extra rest. I just thought that was interesting. If you can introduce a lot more supplements with teenagers. A lot of the things that we can use as adults, most everything, they can use too. And so you can be doing things, you want to continue the Ningxia again, and then you want to do things like inner defense to keep their defenses up. You want to do nitro, when they need that extra focus, or, the big test or things like that. Let's see, what else? Oh, if they do need help sleeping, if they have trouble sleeping, you can introduce things like Sleep Essence, which is a capsule that is packed with a little bit of melatonin and then a bunch of oils that are incredible for just calming your system and helping you to sleep well. You can do the ImmuPro tablets, which also have melatonin and can help with sleep. There's so many options, you guys. And at this point in the game, like when they're entering these ages, they have watched you take these steps and are so familiar with all these things that all of this will just fall into place so naturally. You also want to focus a lot on that hormone balance because there can be so much irregularity with that in these age groups. And so scanning is really great anytime you can do that. If y'all are familiar with that, there are scanners that you can use that measure like the frequencies in your body. And since there are frequencies in our bodies and also all the oils have a frequency, it can tell us which oils will help to balance the frequencies in our bodies the best. And so a lot of times scanning can be really give us great insight into what our bodies specifically need for balance. And that can help a lot with, hormone things and lots of other things. For girls, like once they have started their cycle, we will start our girls on Progestins Plus because just overall in our culture and our world, like there is a deficiency in progesterone. Girls need that. And so we will do that to start helping regulate their hormones as soon as that happens for them. We will continue to do Endoflex over the thyroid. That's for the boys and for the girls to balance all those things. And we will take extra special care to avoid the ingredients that we don't want them exposed to, especially things like fragrance. You guys, fragrance is one of the biggest endocrine and hormone disruptors that there is for adults, for teens, for kids. All those, smelly everythings. Like I can't handle it. It drives me nuts. So just be really mindful of that. If there's one thing that you can avoid, try to avoid fragrance. Let's see. But yeah, just continuing all of those things that we started from before, and then just carrying all that into, adulthood, so that they are, as teens, they are becoming more and more equipped to use the things that they've seen you doing, and you're able to introduce them to supplements that have made you feel amazing. And so it's like an exciting time to get to kind of transition all of that. So I look forward to that with my kiddos. But thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. I love talking about oils for kids, and I love that I'm in a season now where I can kind of do the broad spectrum of it because we've seen so much of it. And so I love you guys, and I am so proud of all you mamas who are making these wise choices for your kiddos, because I know that a lot of times it's not easy and it's tough. But y'all are doing amazing, and if anybody, like I said, has questions about anything specific, just let me know, and I will be happy to connect with you about it. Y'all have such a good night, and I will talk to you next week for our Oils with Friends class. I'm pumped about that. I'll see y'all later. Bye.